I've been asked just recently to do a video just talking about what I use in the way of electrolytes, or what I have used throughout my carnivore journey. So that's what I'm talking about today, magnesium and trace minerals. Hi there, my name is Sue. Welcome to my channel. If you've not been here before, I've been eating a carnivore diet now for just a little bit over 2 years. And so I've been sharing my journey here on my YouTube channel. And so if you haven't been here before, welcome. Now, I was asked the other day in a comment, or it might have been a couple of weeks ago, I can't remember, to do a video talking about what I use or have used in the way of electrolytes. So I have mentioned this before on my channel in different videos, but obviously this person hasn't come across those videos. So when I first started out on my carnivore journey, I needed a lot of trace minerals. And so because I'm here in New Zealand, I didn't use Element. A lot of people use Element, and while it seems to be popular, to me, it kind of doesn't make sense to grab, 3 or 4 elements and just put them together and use those. Like in nature, things don't happen that way. And so for me, it makes sense to use something that comes from nature that contains all of the trace minerals. And so that's what I've done throughout my carnivore journey. Now, before I get into this video, I just want to mention that I am considering starting a community. So I've been trying to remember to talk about this in my videos. And so my thought is that I am thinking about starting a community for anyone who's on the carnivore, ketovore, whatever. But I'm hoping to create a community where there's a lot of people who, like myself, have had quite bumpy journeys through carnivore, so that we can help people who are coming on board who are really struggling. Because what I have found, and what a lot of other people who have been watching my videos have found, is that it's really hard to get answers to some of the questions, and to get suggestions as to how to move through these difficulties. For myself, it's been, like over a year of really bad diarrhea, and then still sporadic patches where anytime I changed anything, it would come back. Massive oxalate dumping, and like scalp issues and skin issues, and very slow weight loss, and just all of these things that were going on, and just seemed to be over the top compared to some other people on carnivore. If I went into other carnivore groups, people don't understand. If they haven't been through this stuff, they don't understand. And so I thought if we could create a community where there's a lot of us in there who are either going through this or have been through it and can help others, that would be a great place to hang out. And so I've created a page on my website, and I'm asking people who are interested to go and fill that out. So I'm just asking for your name, your email address, any comments or suggestions, and that's so that I can let you know once I've made a decision about whether I'm moving forward with this or not. My thought is that even if it takes a while, I still want to do it, but I don't want to start it too early when there's not enough people in there, because we need to have at least a few people in there to kind of kick it off, because otherwise it's not a community and there's going to be no action, and people are going to come and have a look and then they're going to leave again because there's nothing going on there. So I want to get a list of people who are interested to start with, and then I can set this up and hopefully we can get it going, and it's going to be an awesome place to hang out. Now, I'm looking at probably about $5 a month to cover costs with the platform that I'm looking at, and so that would be the cost to join the community, to be able to be active in there. And so so I'll put the address to my form on my website here, on this page, on this video here, and below the video. So if you want to go and fill that out, you can do so, and I thank you very much if you do. All right, so let's get on with the video. Now, when we are oxalate dumping, we need more electrolytes, and that's just the way that it is, because the oxalate is causing our body to be more acidic, and it's binding to some of those minerals, like calcium and magnesium, and making them unavailable. And so this is why oxalate dumping can be potentially dangerous if it's too full on, because it can cause heart arrhythmias and different things like that. So we want to keep our electrolyte levels up, especially when we are going through oxalate dumping. Now, for me, when probably the first year or a little bit more on Carnivore, I was using electrolytes every day, sometimes multiple times a day, because I was having so much oxalate dumping, and so much diarrhea and everything else. Because if you go back through my videos, you'll see that diarrhea was such a big thing for me. It was a problem before Carnivore, and then it kind of got worse. And so it was a real ongoing issue for a very long time. And so when you're losing minerals and nutrients because you've got diarrhea, I mean, that's bad enough. And then, but when it's combined with that whole oxalate dumping thing and losing, passing so much in the way of oxalate crystals, that's obviously binding to a lot of these minerals as well. That was kind of causing problems. So I was having, heart palpitations and things, which is something that I have had problems with for most of my adult life, on and off, to be honest. So little heart arrhythmias. Sometimes I've had times when I was a lot younger where I had quite big heart arrhythmias that would last for quite a long time. And so it's something that I kind of seem to be a little bit susceptible to anyway. And then, with when I probably for about the first 18 months on Carnivore, I pretty much had these heart palpitations and stuff almost every day, but it was usually just little flutters and I was just kind of aware of them. But I would notice that, I'd get kind of headachy and just feeling really kind of sluggish and not well. And so that was when I would take my trace minerals, and I used to take them everywhere with me. So I'd take the trace minerals that I was using. So I'm going to talk about these two products here, okay? So I've spoken about these before, and I have links to these below my video. These are my favorites, all right? So this company used to have a powdered blend of this powdered product of this as well, but they don't have that anymore. And that was what I used to use. So I had this one as well, but I used to take the powdered one with me in the car. I would always keep some with me, and a water bottle, and then if I needed some electrolytes while we were out, while we were shopping or whatever, I could take those, because I had multiple times initially where we went shopping, and next thing I wasn't feeling really good, and I had stuff going on, and I was like, oh my God, I need some electrolytes. So I learned pretty quickly to take them with me. They don't have the powdered one anymore, but they do still have this liquid. And so these are the products that I have used. Now, this product here, so both of these products are made from seawater. So this one here is a trace element, liquid trace element product, and it is made from concentrated seawater off the Australian coast somewhere, I believe. And so it has a fair chunk of the sodium removed, so it's not salty. It actually makes your water quite soft and very slightly sweet taste, and I really, really like the taste, because we distill our water, our drinking water, and so we distill our water and then we add this into it. So our distiller has a 4-litre jug, and we put 2 teaspoons of this into every 4 litres. And so that's a half a teaspoon per litre of water. And it gives it, as I said, it makes the water quite soft, and just has this really nice kind of quality to it. And so we're kind of that way confident that we're getting our trace minerals back into the water, because when you drink distilled water, it's got no mineral content at all. So there's different thoughts about, whether that's a good thing or not, whether it's potentially taking minerals out of your body, and that was my belief for a very long time. But when we distill our water, it's getting rid of all the other stuff. And I mean, here in New Zealand, everywhere around the world, just about these days, there is real issues with water quality and purity. And here in New Zealand, our government still dumps 1080 onto our hills, and to supposedly kill possums. So this is the official narrative about why they do this. Now, 1080 is banned almost everywhere in the world. It's a horrendous poison, and when you see animals dying of this stuff, it is absolutely cruel. People's dogs get it by mistake sometimes. Hunters that are hunting, their pig dogs will get into it sometimes. Deer and native birds get into it. So it's quite a contentious issue here in New Zealand, and there have been people within government who have been making profits apparently from the company. So that's a big rabbit hole to go down, the whole 1080 thing. But my concern is here in New Zealand we have an allowable limit for 1080 in our water supply, and that is crazy because the allowable limit should be 0, no 1080 in our water supply, but it's not. We have an allowable limit. So the government here in New Zealand allows us to be ingesting 1080 in our water as long as it's just a little bit. That's okay. So we distill our water and we put trace minerals back into it. And so this product contains its ionic sea minerals, and it contains about 75 or 80 different minerals, all the different little trace elements that we need for our bodies to function. And so I love this product. It was out of stock for a little while and I couldn't get it, and I was just like, I was going through withdrawal. I was using a different brand, but it wasn't the same. So these guys have their website. You can change the little flag up the top to whatever country you're in. So US, Canada, Australia. I have to order from Australia here in New Zealand, but it doesn't take long to get here. So I've got a link to this below. Now, the other thing that I wanted to talk about, which goes along with that, is magnesium. So magnesium, of course, is an electrolyte as well. So it's a mineral that we need in quite large amounts. The official amounts that they say that we require for magnesium isn't anywhere near enough, because our stress levels these days, even if it's just driving in traffic, deplete our magnesium, and there's less magnesium in the food supply than there used to be. So magnesium deficiency is really, really common. And then with these elements, when they get out of balance, if you're deficient in one, it causes imbalances in the others sometimes. So magnesium is a really important thing to get into your body. So let's talk a little bit about magnesium and what it does and what the deficiency does. So magnesium deficiency in the body is said to cause disruption of calcium absorption by the body's cells. So calcium and magnesium balance each other. So everything in our bodies is about balance, and it's when things get out of balance that we end up in pain, when we end up with illness and that sort of thing. So if we can keep that balance, just balanced, then that's when we feel good and when our health is good. Deficiency of magnesium has been linked to cardiovascular, skeletal, and central nervous system disorders. And it's estimated, like for example in the United States, that between 68 and 75% of people don't consume the daily recommended amount of dietary magnesium, and that 19% of Americans don't consume even half the government's recommended daily intake. And the recommended daily intake is way lower than what we need. So, when you look at kind of people's health and what's going on in our societies, New Zealand would be the same, Australia will be the same, the UK will be the same, where you've got people who are having trouble with insomnia and heart issues and all of these different diseases. Magnesium can play a role in a lot of these things. And just because our modern lifestyle is way more stressful than we were designed to live with. When you think about our ancestors, our stress back 100,000 years ago was being chased by something, and then once we got away, then we were fine and everything was chill. And whereas now we're getting up in the morning and we're trying to get the kids ready for school, and then get the kids in the car and get them dropped off, and then in the car driving in traffic and they're going too slow and somebody cuts you off at the roundabout, and it's just this constant kind of stress that's going on with so many of us these days. So where can we get magnesium? So the food supply, the soils have been depleted of magnesium, and so we're not getting the magnesium that our grandparents and great-grandparents had in their food. A lot of us take magnesium supplements, and Epsom salts in the bath is a good source of magnesium, and magnesium oil spray is another one. So the two routes that are going via the skin, so the Epsom salts in the bath and the magnesium spray, I believe are probably the better ways to get magnesium. So let's have a look at where magnesium originally came from. Seawater is the most abundant source of magnesium on Earth. And, we apparently originated in the sea and then came onto land and then did our thing and became humans. So if that's true, we started off absorbing our magnesium from the seawater. And I mean, this is why when you go to the beach and you go swimming, it makes you feel good. We're absorbing that magnesium and those other minerals from the sea into our body through our skin. Our skin is one of the best ways to absorb some of these things. That's why we have nicotine patches and hormone patches and things like that, because we can absorb all these things through our skin into our bloodstream. When we take magnesium orally, there are obviously potential problems because it can cause diarrhea and just go straight through us. For me, that's one of the reasons that I haven't historically taken magnesium, because I was always worried about it making my diarrhea worse, because that's kind of what it does. And so for me, Epsom salts and magnesium spray has always been my preferred choice. Recently, I actually bought some magnesium glycinate because I thought I'll start taking that at night time. And it's one of the forms of magnesium that are supposed to be less of an issue for bowel tolerance, but still, it went through me. So I've stopped taking it, and I'm just using my magnesium spray and an Epsom salt bath, once a week or whatever. I'd actually like to do that more often, but I don't get to it. So if we can absorb the magnesium through our skin, then that's not an issue. And so, as I was saying, if you go to the sea and you swim in the sea and you're getting all those minerals into your body, including all that magnesium, it makes you feel really good. And I mean, this is why the Dead Sea's always been a place of natural healing, since the beginning of time. Its benefits have been known, and that's because it's super high in magnesium. So this magnesium spray comes from the Dead Sea, and that's where this magnesium comes from. And so the mineral content of the Dead Sea is significantly different from that of ocean water and consists of approximately 53% magnesium. So that's a lot of magnesium. And so that's why when people go to the Dead Sea and they bathe in the Dead Sea, it makes them, it helps to heal things and it makes them feel really good. And that's why people go there and do that, because they're absorbing that magnesium through their skin and gaining benefit from that. So apparently the Dead Sea has a whopping 52,000 milligrams per litre of water versus ocean water, which is 1,400 milligrams per litre. So as I was saying, transdermal drug administration is preferred over oral for many substances, so nicotine patches, hormones, and even opioids. And that's because, when you take something internally, it's your liver has to process it, and it's going through a whole lot of different pathways. Whereas when it goes through the skin, it goes through the skin, the lymph into the lymph, into the bloodstream, and does its thing. And so there's no issues with it being affected by the digestive system, being broken down by the liver, or whatever. So I'll just read this little section off of our website when I was doing some research for this video, which says traditional methods of administering medicine, such as tablets or capsules, have to pass through the stomach, and unfortunately the action of stomach acids and digestive enzymes often reduces uptake and bioavailability so significantly that very little may actually reach the bloodstream, said the researchers. Bypassing the stomach and liver means a much greater percentage of the active ingredient goes straight into the bloodstream where it's needed. So that's I think that was from a research paper that I was looking at. So, this whole absorbing magnesium through your skin, to me, just makes sense to do it that way. So there are, when you go and look at information about this, there are studies that are both for and against the transdermal application of magnesium. So if you have a look at, if you Google it, there's sources there that'll say no, that it doesn't increase your magnesium level. But when you think about it from a common sense perspective, the Epsom salts in the bath works really well. And that's been my go-to for years. Like when I'm really sore, I'll just have a bath with Epsom salts, and the pain just would diminish and just go away. And that's because I was absorbing magnesium into my body through my skin. And so the magnesium oil, I've used magnesium oils for years as well, but this one here is different because it doesn't sting and it doesn't leave a yucky residue on your skin. So all of the others that I've used, especially when you first start using them, they can be quite stingy on the skin, and until you your skin gets used to it, I guess. But they also leave like an oily residue, whereas this one doesn't really do that. So you can put this one on and kind of give it a bit of a rub in, and it's gone very quickly and doesn't leave that residue. So when I was looking at the studies, I did find a couple of small studies that indicate that magnesium oil actually works better than oral supplementation. And this one of these studies says the 12-week study involved 9 patients, 2 males and 7 females, between the ages of 22 and 69 years. At the beginning of the study, subjects' magnesium levels were measured through hair analysis. Subjects were instructed to apply 20 sprays of the magnesium oil spray anywhere on their bodies daily, as well as using a 20-minute foot soak of magnesium oil soak twice weekly. So they were obviously using some magnesium flakes in a foot soak. Both magnesium products were a saturated solution of 31% magnesium chloride, mined from the Zachstein's deposits in North Holland. So that's a different sea deposit, obviously. And at the end of the study, subjects' magnesium levels were again measured using hair analysis. The researchers said that after the 12-week study, 89% of the subjects raised their cellular magnesium levels, with an average increase of 59.7%. By contrast, the researchers said the equivalent results from oral magnesium supplementation have been shown to take between 9 and 24 months to achieve that same increase. They added that all patients showed an improvement in their calcium-magnesium balance ratios as well, with a mean improvement of 25.2%. Another observation was that 78% of patients showed significant evidence of detoxification of heavy metals. So this product delivers 22 milligrams of magnesium per spray. So like I'll use it in the morning after I have my shower, and I might put on, if I put on 10 pumps, that's 220 milligrams. I know exactly what I'm getting, and it's not having to pass through my digestive system or anything. It's going directly into my bloodstream. So I will use quite often 20 in the morning. Sometimes I'll put more on later in the day. So that's 440 plus, if I have more later in the day, that's quite a decent dose of magnesium per day. And it lasts for ages. So you can use it on any of your skin, like I'll spray it on my shoulders, and I'll spray it on my chest, and I'll spray it on my belly and my legs and up my arms, just depending. And I'll swap it around from one day to the next, just depending on where I've used it the day before. I'll go somewhere different, and that's basically how I use it. But the best place to use this is on the soles of your feet before you go to bed at night time. So it's a really good idea to keep a bottle beside the bed and just spray some on the soles of your feet before you go to bed. And the reason for that is that the skin on the soles of your feet are more absorbent than your other skin. It's different, and I didn't know that until I started using the doTERRA essential oils, because that's where they recommend that you use essential oils if you can. It's the most effective place, and it makes sense. When you think about our history, where we have walked this earth in bare feet. If we are walking on herbs and grasses and things like that, it makes sense that we would be absorbing some of those, the essential oils and the extracts and the things out of the plants and that we're walking on is being absorbed through our feet into our bloodstream and into our body, because nature designs everything perfectly, and I mean, it's like with animals as well. When you look at their feet and you look at the skin on the soles of their feet, it's always different to their body, and it's not just because it needs to be tougher. It's different in its makeup, and so they too would be absorbing things from the ground, from the grasses and the herbs and the weeds that they're walking over into their body, because that's how we're designed to be barefoot on the ground, even though these days we very rarely are. That is how we are designed to be. And so to know that we can absorb this stuff through our feet better than we can on any other skin on our body is a really important thing to know, because it's a really good way of administering herbs and oils and things like that you are wanting to use for health or medical reasons. So, for example, I mean, a way you can actually test this is if you put peppermint oil on the soles of your feet, within about 20 minutes or so, you can feel it in your lungs and taste it almost. And so that is the oil going through your body and up into your bloodstream and being pumped around your body. So yeah, it's really interesting. So this product here is fantastic for magnesium, especially if, I mean, you can use a supplemental, an oral magnesium as well if you want to, but the transdermal magnesium is a better option, I believe, for supplementation. So yeah, so that's what I was going to talk about today. If you've got any comments or questions, just pop those below and I will get to those as soon as I can. I thank you very much for watching. If you like the video, make sure to subscribe and like and share with anyone you think might be interested. That helps to support my channel, and I will talk to you again another day. Goodbye for now.